Yo, what's going on, Eagles fan? This is your boy Philly Day One, and we're gonna talk about a couple of things, man. We got a nice bit of topics I want to go over with y'all, man. I hadn't posted in the last 2 days. Excuse me on that, man. I was trying to enjoy some time with the family, but let's get into some of these topics, man. First topic: George Kittle put out his top 4 tight ends who are playing right now. We're going to get into them and some of the discussions of who his tight ends are, and a surprise visit that not me, but a lot of other people might be surprised to see on that tight end, on the tight end board for Gronk. So we're gonna get into that. We are gonna get into DeVonta Smith and why he was so emotional in the Super Bowl. What going home, which he's from Louisiana. So what going home meant to him and winning at home meant to him and why he felt so emotional about it. We're going to get into that. We also are going to get into Saquon Barkley first touchdown. He did a celebration. It which I kind of missed, but we went back and looked at it. He did a celebration. He's going to tell us what that celebration meant. And for our last topic, Brandon Graham has been everywhere. He's been doing interviews everywhere. Brandon Graham is probably one of the most entertaining Eagles, in my opinion. And when he's doing interviews, he kind of gets his sound bites out. So Brandon Graham spoke on Asante Samuel's podcast, and he talked about the coaches that he played for. He was asked what coaches do he feel like was better in his time. And Brandon Graham answered them as Brandon Graham would. Let's get into it. Let's go. Oh my goodness, I've got to talk about this. I am a big fan of Dallas Goedert. I love Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert came and I was just like, who is Zach Ertz? No, seriously though. Dallas Goedert being able to get open and hard to take down is the kind of tight end I like, man. Now, it don't bode well for his career because he's always injured. But when he's not injured, he is one of the most dynamic tight ends in this game. And Gronk seems to think so too. As you've seen in there, he's got the only person that is over him is George Kittle. And I feel like George Kittle is the only one over Dallas Goedert because he's a little more harder to bring down. Dallas Goedert, I feel like, is a little more fluid than George Kittle, but he's a little harder to bring down than Dallas Goedert. You had Mark Andrews was in there, and then you had Dalton Kincaid. So you had some really good tight ends in there. When you look at them, they're pretty much the kind of same kind of build. Hard to bring down, run after catch tight ends, do it all. Do it all tight ends. Gronk likes to do it all tight ends, obviously. Me too, bro. So let me know how y'all think about that. What y'all think about that? So let's get into the next topic. Saquon Barkley had a celebration after the touchdown against the Packers, in which he wanted to explain what that was about. Let's take a look.
Jalen kind of just trust me and threw a dime, kind of jumped up. I wish I would have caught it a little better. I tried to they didn't get the touchdown celebration I do for my daughter when I score. I do the I heart you. They didn't get that part, but she's probably sleeping by that time anyway. But it was electric, it was fun. It was cool to see how everybody reacted. And that was the first of many that game.
Yeah, it's for his daughter. It was for his daughter. I guess we could have seen that being he's such a family man, we probably should have saw that coming. But yeah, it was a pretty wholesome moment. Let's get into the talk about I almost said Deshaun Jackson, but DeVonta Smith. DeVonta Smith explain to somebody after this very cool looking painting he had about why he was so emotional and in the Super Bowl. And let's look at it.
You know, last time I was there, I got knocked out. Played there twice in high school, played once in college. You know, at this stage, that's the goal, to win, you know, the Super Bowl and things like that. And then just for me, my grandfather, he doesn't come up to Philly to games, so for him to be able to come to that game, the biggest one it was, it meant a lot for me.
Yeah. He said it was a lot of emotion going on there, man. And, you know, Devontae Smith don't really show a lot of emotion, but, you know, you could see why it was that he felt the way he felt right there. You know, so my last and my favorite topic might be is the Brandon Graham answer. I feel like everybody want to know the answer to Brandon Graham. Who's his favorite coaches? Brandon Graham has been there for 4 coaches. If nobody knew, Brandon Graham has been there for 4 coaches. He's been in there in the Andy Reid era. He has been there the Chip Kelly era. He has been there for the Doug Peterson era, and he's been there for Nick Sirianni. I will always love Andy Reid. We've been very successful with Andy Reid. We had some very down years on the backstep of Andy Reid's coaching, but we have never had a Patrick Mahomes at quarterback for Andy Reid. So you can see that. You know what I'm saying? Andy Reid's a very good coach, man. And I'm glad that he got championships. When he got those championships, I was happy for him. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the one he got on us, you know, I was very happy for him. You know what I'm saying? And if it was anybody that I would rather lose to, if I wanted to lose, it'd probably be Andy Reid. So I don't know if y'all know this little fun fact, but every time that somebody beat us in the Super Bowl, we go get our motherfucking lick back. We like that. We go get our lick back. But look, before I get into it too much, man, let's go see what Brandon Graham said about the coaches and which ones was his favorite, which ones was an experience. Let's get a look at that.
You got a chance to play with 4 different head coaches, and you won Super Bowls with 2 of those head coaches.
Yep.
Which coach did you enjoy playing for the most?
If I had to say, that's a good one. Well, you know what? I'm happy that I started with Coach Reid, especially coming in, because he taught me really how to be a pro and how a coach should be when, like, you know, you make a mistake. You know, he was a guy that really moved on after he got on you, and then he moved on. And then y'all had him when y'all was a little older. So I didn't get him as a vet. I got him as a young guy. And so I really didn't get a chance to experience him like I did most of these other coaches. So I would have to go with first Doug, because Doug was cool. Just like Nick, it's Doug and Nick at the same time. I mean, I learned a lot of even with old boy Chip Kelly. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. I ain't had no beef. But I just didn't like some of the stuff he was doing with others, because you see how other people get treated, even though you're not getting treated like that. It's more like what other guys getting treated like, and you know, I'm like, it's just messed up when you see it like that, because you know, if I wasn't nobody, I'd probably get treated like that too. You know, and it not saying that should matter, but you know how I go in the real world. You watch people on how they treat other people they think they don't need, and so it was Coach Reid, I go Doug, and then Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
And you got it. You know, Brandon Graham is somebody I guess wasn't affected by the Chip Kelly's era, but he didn't. You know, he's for the team, so he saw the things that was happening. I can't stand Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly can, you know what it is. I ain't gonna go into it, but for Andy Reid, you know what it was with him. Doug Peterson, always be a good coach for me. Always be a good coach. We got our first Super Bowl with him. You know what I'm saying? And then Nick Sirianni, we got like I wouldn't call it a love-hate relationship, have a growing relationship. So we got a Super Bowl with Nick Sirianni. He's always teaching the right things, and he lets players be players. So Nick Sirianni and Doug Peterson pretty much in the same field with me, so I can see why Andy Reid went above both of them. But for me, it's got to be Doug Peterson and what you call it. They sharing the number 1 spot, and Andy Reid right behind him. Chip Kelly, I beat you up if I see you on the street, and I'm just playing. Don't cancel me. Hey, that's all I got, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Is that tight end thing a little? Y'all feel like Dallas should be at the top? I do. You know what I'm saying? What y'all feel about the celebration, man? Was that a nice celebration? You know, he could have went a different way with it. I think it was cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, Devontae Smith and the emotions, I can understand that. Brandon Graham, y'all heard mine. I would like to see who y'all thought was who's y'all favorites coaches in their time in Philly. You know, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, turn those post notifications on so you don't miss no video. We out. Go Birds.